Life doesn't change in one dramatic moment. Life changes quietly. In the small decisions you make when nobody is watching. We often say, one day my life will change. But the truth is, your life changes the day you change the way you think, react, and act. I have met people with very little, yet they sleep peacefully. And I have met people with everything, yet they are restless inside. So the problem is not life. The problem is the rules we are living by. Today, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to remind you of the wisdom you already know, but may have forgotten. Most people believe their problem is anger, stress, or people around them. But the real problem is not what happens to us. It is how quickly we react to it. Reaction is automatic. Response is intentional. And the quality of your life depends on the gap between the two. Let me explain this very simply. Two people face the same insult. One person loses peace for the entire day. The other person listens, smiles, and moves on. Same situation, same words, but completely different outcomes. Why? Because one gave control of their emotions to someone else, and the other kept that control within. You see, when you react immediately, you are no longer the driver of your life. You become a passenger. Anyone can push your buttons. Anyone can decide your mood. Anyone can disturb your sleep. And slowly, without realizing it, you start living life on other people's terms. Most regrets in life don't come from what we did after thinking calmly. They come from what we did in one emotional second. One angry message, one harsh word, one impulsive decision. And after that moment passes, we say, I wish I had controlled myself. But the damage is already done. Control does not mean suppressing emotions. Control means understanding them. When anger rises, pause and ask yourself one question. Is this situation worth my peace? In most cases, the answer is no. But because we don't pause, we don't give wisdom a chance to speak. Think about this: when someone provokes you and you react angrily, who has won? Not you. The other person has succeeded in controlling your emotions. Real strength is not in shouting louder. Real strength is in staying calm when you have every reason not to be. Life will test you. People will misunderstand you. Situations will disappoint you. That is guaranteed. What is not guaranteed is your reaction. That part is completely in your hands. And the moment you realize this, you reclaim your power. Imagine carrying a glass of water while walking. If someone bumps into you, the water spills. Why? Not because of the bump, but because there was water inside the glass. Similarly, when someone bumps into you emotionally and anger spills out, it is because anger was already inside. Life doesn't create what comes out of you. Life reveals it. So instead of asking, why did they make me angry? Ask, why was anger my first response? This shift in thinking changes everything. It moves you from being a victim to being responsible. And responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. When you control your reactions, your mind becomes lighter, your decisions become clearer, your relationships become healthier. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary battles. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. Silence, at times, is not weakness. It is wisdom. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every provocation deserves attention. Your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Remember this: you don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. Control your reaction, and you will notice something beautiful. People will start respecting you more. Not because you dominate them, but because you dominate yourself. Self-control creates inner confidence. And inner confidence doesn't need validation. This practice is not easy. It takes awareness. It takes patience. And yes, you will fail sometimes. But every time you pause instead of reacting, you grow stronger. Every calm response rewires your mind. Slowly, peace becomes your natural state, not an effort. Life doesn't become easier when you control your reactions, but you become stronger. And when you become stronger inside, life outside loses its power to disturb you. That is not just emotional maturity, that is true success. Many people wait for motivation to change their life. They say, when I feel inspired, I will start. But days turn into months, months turn into years, and life stays the same. Motivation is like the weather. Some days it shines brightly, some days it disappears completely. If your life depends on motivation, then your progress will always be uncertain. Discipline, on the other hand, does not ask how you feel. Discipline asks only one question: what needs to be done? And then it does it quietly, without drama, without excuses. This is why discipline, not motivation, builds lasting success. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do you really believe they wake up every day feeling excited and inspired? Of course not. They wake up tired, confused, sometimes discouraged, just like everyone else. The difference is not how they feel. The difference is what they do despite how they feel. Motivation says, I will work when I feel ready. Discipline says, I will work and become ready. This small shift changes everything. When you act first, the mind follows. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the road to become smooth before starting the journey. Discipline teaches you to walk even when the road is rough. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Your mind often seeks comfort. Sleep a little more, scroll a little longer, postpone a little further. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it silently steals your future. Discipline protects your future from your present impulses. People often think discipline is punishment. It is not. Discipline is self-respect. It is telling yourself, my dreams matter more than my excuses. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows. When you break them repeatedly, your self-belief weakens. Look closely at your daily routine. Your life is not shaped by one big decision. It is shaped by small, repeated actions. Waking up on time, showing up consistently, doing the work even when nobody is watching. These are acts of discipline, and they compound quietly over time. Motivation may help you start, but discipline helps you continue. Anyone can begin something when emotions are high. Very few can continue when results are slow and effort feels heavy. That is where discipline separates those who dream from those who achieve. Discipline also brings peace. When your life has structure, your mind feels safer. Chaos creates anxiety. Consistency creates calm. When you know you will show up, no matter what, your mind stops negotiating with you. And when the mind stops negotiating, energy is saved. You don't need extreme discipline. You need simple, repeatable discipline. Not perfection, consistency. Missing once is human. Missing repeatedly is a habit. Discipline is not about never falling. It is about getting up without excuses. Some days discipline will feel hard. That is normal. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. But remember this, every disciplined action is a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, those votes create identity. You stop forcing discipline, it becomes who you are. The beautiful part is this: discipline gives you freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you gain more time. When you are disciplined with your money, you gain security. When you are disciplined with your habits, you gain control over your life. Motivation fades, but discipline stays. And when discipline stays long enough, results appear. And when results appear, motivation returns naturally. But this time, it is built on evidence, not emotion. If you want to change your life, stop waiting to feel ready. Start acting responsibly. Start showing up on ordinary days. Because greatness is not built on extraordinary moments. It is built on ordinary days lived with discipline. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they choose comfort again and again. Comfort is subtle. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It says, "Rest a little more. You can start tomorrow." You deserve ease after a hard day. And slowly, without realizing it, comfort becomes a cage. Comfort feels safe. Growth feels uncertain. And the human mind naturally runs towards safety. But here is the truth we often ignore. Everything you truly want in life lives outside your comfort zone. Confidence, success, self-respect, clarity, none of these are born in comfort. They are born in moments of stretch, effort, and discomfort. Think about how muscles grow. They don't grow when you lift what feels easy. They grow when you challenge them. Life works the same way. If you repeat only what feels familiar, your life may feel stable, but it will never expand. Stability without growth eventually turns into stagnation. Choosing comfort over progress may not hurt immediately. In fact, it feels good in the moment, but the cost is delayed. One skipped effort doesn't ruin your life, but repeated avoidance slowly builds regret. And regret is far heavier than effort ever was. Progress asks for courage. It asks you to do things before you feel ready, to speak when it's easier to stay silent, to try when failure is possible. Comfort says, don't risk it. Progress says, risk is the price of becoming. Many people wait for confidence before taking action. But confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Confidence follows. Every time you choose progress over comfort, even in a small way, you send a powerful message to your mind, I can handle discomfort. And once the mind believes that, fear loses its control. Comfort keeps you busy, but progress makes you better. You can spend hours scrolling, talking, planning, and still feel exhausted because nothing meaningful moved forward. Progress may feel tiring in the beginning, but it leaves you fulfilled. At the end of a disciplined, challenging day, there is a quiet satisfaction that comfort can never provide. Choosing progress also changes how you see yourself. Self-respect grows when you do hard things voluntarily. Every time you avoid effort, a small part of your self-trust weakens. Every time you push through resistance, self-trust strengthens. Over time, this shapes your identity. Growth often looks messy. You may fail. You may look foolish. You may move slower than others. Comfort promises protection from embarrassment, but protection also means limitation. A protected life is often a small life. Progress requires you to be a beginner again and again, and the ego hates being a beginner. Comfort protects the ego. Progress builds the soul. That is why growth feels uncomfortable. It challenges who you think you are. Remember, this comfort is not happiness. Comfort is familiarity. Happiness comes from meaning, and meaning comes from growth. That is why people who challenge themselves often appear more alive, even when life is difficult. They are moving forward, and forward motion creates hope. Choosing progress over comfort does not mean exhausting yourself or rejecting rest. Rest is necessary. Comfort is not the enemy. Living with only for comfort is. Rest should recharge you so you can grow again. Comfort should be a pause, not a destination. Life rewards movement. When you move toward growth, opportunities appear. When you stay comfortable, life stays repetitive. Not because life is unfair, but because life responds to your direction. One day, comfort will ask you to settle. Progress will ask you to rise. And in that moment, remember, discomfort is temporary, but regret can last a lifetime. Choose progress. Your future self is counting on it. Your mind is the most powerful place you will ever live in. And yet, it is also the most unprotected. We lock our houses, we protect our phones with passwords, we choose carefully what we eat, but we allow anything and everything to enter our mind. And then we wonder why we feel restless, anxious, confused, or negative. What you repeatedly expose your mind to becomes your inner voice. Your thoughts don't appear randomly. They are shaped by what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, and the conversations you entertain. The mind is not a dustbin, it is a garden. Whatever you feed it will grow. Many people say, I can handle it. They believe negative news, toxic conversations, and endless comparison won't affect them. But the mind works silently. It absorbs even when you think it isn't. Just like polluted air affects your lungs slowly, polluted information affects your thoughts gradually. If you constantly consume fear, your mind learns fear. If you constantly consume anger, your mind learns anger. If you constantly consume distraction, your mind loses depth. And then, without realizing it, you start reacting from a place you never consciously chose. Guarding your mind does not mean disconnecting from the world. It means choosing wisely what deserves your attention. Attention is life energy. Wherever your attention goes, your life follows. When your attention is scattered, your peace is scattered. Notice how your mood changes after certain interactions. Some conversations leave you inspired, others leave you drained. Some content uplifts you, others leave you restless. This is not coincidence. Your mind responds to its environment. The problem is not technology. The problem is unconscious consumption. Scrolling without intention trains the mind to seek constant stimulation and instant pleasure. Stillness starts to feel uncomfortable. Silence feels empty. Focus feels difficult. This is not weakness, it is conditioning. A guarded mind learns to pause and ask, is this helping me grow or pulling me down? Not everything deserves your mental space. Just because something is popular does not mean it is healthy for you. Just because everyone is talking about it does not mean you need to listen. Comparison is one of the biggest thieves of peace. When you constantly watch others' highlights, your mind starts undervaluing your own journey. You forget your progress. You forget your blessings. And slowly, dissatisfaction